Welcome to the Productpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Delarzak, product development and marketing coach and mom of three. Learn from and get inspired by women entrepreneurs killing it in the product space. Each episode, we will share the latest trends, proven strategies, and inside secrets of the product world, all designed to give you greater confidence to create your own success through a product venture. Let's do this. Hey guys, I want to take a quick minute to share with you about the Product Launch Lab. I created a one-of-a-kind 6-month online coaching program as well as done-for-you services that will take you from idea to launch. Through this program, we'll work together to come up with, develop, and market your product. You'll have my input, guidance, and support to rely on every step of the way. If you'd like more information, head on over to NicoleDelarzak.com and book a free strategy call to discuss your product idea. Hey there, and welcome to episode 4 of the Productpreneur Podcast. I'm really excited about this next interview. Kristy Miller is a maker and entrepreneur who started a business from her kitchen and has grown it nationwide in just 2 years. She's the founder of The Scented Market, a candle company that uses natural, sustainably sourced ingredients to produce a healthier option to typical store-bought candles. She recognized a lack of healthy, beautiful soy wax candles in the industry and decided to create this product herself. Kristy was born and raised in Guelph, Ontario, Canada. Now a busy mom of 3 boys, she has learned to find balance between family and business while still positively motivating her female community. Enjoy the show. Welcome, Kristy. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Yeah. And we met through a mutual friend named Jennifer Singh, who's a super PR consultant. So huge thanks and shout out to Jennifer. Great to meet you. And so I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about your background, where you started your career, and then what was kind of the moment where you said, I want to start my own business.
I guess growing up in high school, I always thought that I wanted to be a nurse. So I did a lot of those studies, and not a lot of people know this about me, actually. My followers, this is something I don't ever really talk about. I actually went to college to become a nurse, and I finished my full entire first year of nursing school. And I started to really have feelings for my patients. Like I really felt for them. And a couple of them passed away unexpectedly. And it just broke me. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this nursing career. It's so hard on my heart. I really need to look where I'm going in life and maybe come up with a different path. So a huge amount of respect to all the nurses out there. How they do it, I don't know, but kudos to you. So I dabbled into a few things, and I went into an office. I sat at a computer screen. I looked at the clock every second of every day, and I said to myself, this is not my life. I respect everybody that does it. For me personally, it was something that I just recognized right off the hop I could not do. So I actually started my very first business when I was 17 years old. And that's my first business I've developed and grew myself. I currently still own and have this business, and I run it not so much on a day-to-day basis anymore. And so what happened is...
Okay, wait, what was that business? I'm so curious.
Oh, by the way, I have 2 businesses.
Okay.
I actually have a team of women running food trucks.
Really? Okay. And what kind of food trucks?
So they're not the type of food trucks that you cook inside. They're the type of food trucks, they're more of a cafeteria on wheels. So we call them lunch trucks. So we pull up to factories and places of employment that have employees. And typically we just honk the horn and they all run out. They gather their fresh coffee and their food, and then they run back into work.
That's amazing. What a great idea.
It was just me on my own doing it with one little old truck that used to break down every night. And then my boyfriend, who is now my husband at the time, would fix it every night to get me back up on the road the next day. So that started growing and taking off. And then it led from 1 truck to 2 trucks to 3 trucks to 4 trucks. And then we started having kids, and I took a step back from the day-to-day life of being an entrepreneur and a business owner. And I started, I guess maybe getting bored is the word. I'm not really sure, but I was like, let's start making healthier choices for my family. So I was looking at our bath and body care, and I was looking at what we were eating. And then I was looking up at the ceiling one day in the shower, and I was like, oh my gosh, my ceiling is black with soot. What are we breathing in? And so my rumbly, grumbly husband, he is now referred to as Wax Man, he was very upset that he had to repaint all of our bathroom. And I was laying in bed one morning and I said, honey, I have this amazing idea. I want a healthy candle. I want a pretty candle. I want something that's not going to put black soot all over our walls. And I think I'm going to call it the Scented Market. And he was like, oh boy, we're in trouble. And I was like, okay, let's put on a pot of coffee. Nothing happens before coffee in our house. And let's talk about this. And the ball just got rolling. It was the most amazing adventure. And for me, it somewhat came naturally. Like I found a problem, I researched and, tried to come up with the best solution.
That is just incredible because it did sound very natural. You're like, okay, well, let's just try this. Let's try a healthier candle. And actually, I hadn't known that about candles until just recently when I learned that scented candles are actually unhealthy. And I was destroyed because I love the smell of scented candles. So kudos on you for thinking of this idea of a healthy candle that, you don't have to worry about the health for your family. You just took a problem and you said, okay, I'm going to solve it. That's amazing. And actually, I have my candle. I just bought it yesterday at the Maker's Mojo in Oakville.
Yay.
So I have it right here in front of me. It's called
nice.
But First Coffee.
Oh, the original candle.
Is it really?
That is the original. This is why I created my business.
Amazing. Because I actually, I couldn't decide between all the scents when I was there. And I said to my daughter, okay, you decide. And she picked up this one and she loved the smell of it. And I thought, okay, that's perfect because actually, for me too, nothing happens before coffee. I love coffee, so it smells amazing. I just want to eat it up. But anyway, yeah, really nice product. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks. Well, I think that's what a lot of people have a hard time understanding and believing. That for me, it's just so natural, and I don't seem to think anyone in my family is really an entrepreneur. It was just something that I thought was the right path for me. And it flows within my blood and my body. I have these like creative outbursts and then I start businesses and then I am the business though. I don't just sell a candle, I sell a lifestyle. And I think that's what sets me apart in a lot of ways too.
Can you actually just unpack that? Like, what do you mean by you are the business?
Well, I feel like the biggest part of being a business owner is you have to eat, breathe, and sleep your business. You can't just believe in it some hours of the day and then not believe in it any other hours of the day. I really, I think about it, I dream about it, I come up with all these amazing ideas, and I really, truly believe in my product, and I stand 100% behind all of my products. So I've messed up a lot of candles in my day, let me tell you. And I feel like you just have to live and learn. I mean, lots of people say, how do you do it? You know what? I do it. I mess it up. I try it again. And if that doesn't work, I keep on plugging away at different formulas or different ingredients. You just have to really not give up and stay positive every single day.
That is so important. Yes, because if you're just half into it, you're not going to see those results, and you also are not likely to follow through. And following through is the biggest part of success, because lots of people have ideas, but not a lot of people actually follow through. So you've proven that with 2 businesses that you've actually followed through and you brought them to success. I'm curious, what did your husband say when you said, I'm going to start this? Like, was he for it or against it?
Well, he knows me, so he knows I'm an all-in kind of girl. Like I'm either 120% in or I'm not in at all. So I think he thought, oh, this is cute. My wife wants to start a business and I'm sure it's going to be great. But then, a year and a half coming up on 2 years later, he really actually is blown away by the amount of things that I do or orders we have coming in. And we tease each other. And I have a couple of employees now that that work for me. And we say, oh, it's just a cute little candle business, right? And we're like, right. But this isn't luck. This is hard work. And, for everyone that, looks at another female entrepreneur or looks up to another woman, this stuff just doesn't happen to us. We work for it. We work hard for it. I mean, I must send out 100 emails a day, whether it be sitting at the hockey arena at 6 a.m. or sitting at the hockey arena at 11 p.m. You try and fit it in throughout the day as you go.
Right, exactly. That's funny. I'm laughing because I saw your post this morning was from the hockey arena. I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, actually 2 mornings a week from 6 to 7. My middle boy is a goalie. And let me tell you how stressful that is. I sit there and I kind of feel bad because I don't socialize with the other moms a lot. And I'm very I have to get this amount of work done while I'm there, but I do. Right. It's so good. I know I have that hour. I plug away really, really good. I'm really focused. And so I think that really,
That's
really
awesome.
helps me.
That's great. Your office away from your office.
Yes.
So can you just tell us a little bit more about your candles and your product range? Because at first I thought it was just candles, but I got to your website and there's quite a variety of products. And I also noticed that they're not only eco-friendly, but also sustainable. So can you just tell us about what is different about your products and your product range?
Right. So I think the most important thing about being an entrepreneur is really listening to your customers and really listening to what they want, what they're asking you for, and to deliver that. So some of these products, I didn't necessarily have the idea I should do a room spray. My customer said, hey, we want room sprays, bring them to us. So, and a lot of other female entrepreneurs ask me how did you know, or how did you decide? I say, well, ask your audience. Ask your customers, what do they want? Don't try and make a product up and try and sell it. Just find out what they want and they will tell you. So with the candles, I chose to do every candle with 100% all natural soy wax. So it's renewable and sustainable. It's also vegan friendly. And then we used a cotton wick. It's a clean burn. There's no lead in it. And I chose a mason jar because I wanted something reusable or recyclable. So you can wash it out with soap and hot water. It washes out very easily and reuse it for something else. We also have a jar recycle program. So if you bring us back your old candle jar, we'll offer you a discount on your purchase. And that helps a lot get these jars reused and stay out of our landfill. But then we decided to do wax melts. I actually have a couple firefighter friends that were like, oh, you're making candles now. You have to offer a non-flammable solution. So I was like, okay, I can do this. So I started making wax melts. And then people were asking me for room sprays in the same sense as our candles. So I sourced how to make a room spray. And I reached out to a couple of people in my fellow community and said, hey, what do you think of this idea? Or what did you use? Can you help me out? And that led into car fresheners. I looked at my husband's truck and I saw 100 of those silly cardboard air fresheners.
Yeah. Oh, they're horrible.
And I was like, you're just going to throw them in the garbage. They're so pointless. They gave me a headache every time I got into his car. So I'm like, out with the old, in with the car balls.
Awesome.
So now we sell car balls every day too.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, you're right. Asking your customers, that's the biggest form of customer research you can do, is really just asking the people who love your product already, what do they want more of? That's awesome. Sorry, what is a wax melt? I have to ask.
So a wax melt is a scented wax cube, similar to an ice cube, and you put it into a warmer, and when you turn the warmer on, the light bulb will melt the wax cube and give you the same scent as the candle without the fire or the flame. So they're really great. When I'm having a company over, I'll turn a wax warmer on in my bathroom because I'm not necessarily watching the lit candle, but I also wanted the smell of a nice clean bathroom.
Oh, awesome. Okay. And can you tell everyone who probably doesn't know this, what is sort of dangerous about scented candles in general? Why did you think that there was this need?
Well, It was probably 80% my wax choice. So I chose a healthier, vegan-friendly wax, and that helps a lot with, there's no black soot. You're not breathing in any chemicals. I mean, the basic general breakdown I like to explain to people is soy wax comes from a soybean, which is grown in the ground. And so say you take paraffin wax. So the most general breakdown of it is you take oil from the ground, that oil is transformed into gasoline from your vehicle, and then the leftover sludge from that process is what paraffin wax is made out of. And I chose not to breathe that in or have that in my household. I also don't add any colored dyes to my products, so you'll never see a pink or a green candle. Part personal choice. I like a pretty white candle, but I also didn't want to add another ingredient that didn't need to be in there. And I love home decor. I love decorating. So I wanted a candle that would match all the different seasons, all the different homes. So I just wanted something simple, pretty, white, and healthy for my family to breathe in.
Okay, awesome. And the scents from the candles, where did they come from?
Yeah, so they're oil fragrances. I do have a line of essential oil candles. For me personally, it was a personal decision to not make all of them with essential oils, because I find for me that essential oil candles are not strong enough if you're in a bigger room. So I chose an oil fragrance that's phthalate and paraben free. So it's healthier to burn in your home, and it's a stronger scent too. But because again, when I go back to the soy wax, it burns at a low heat, which makes your scent throw very even and smooth. So when you walk in your room, you're like, oh, that's nice. There's a candle going. It's not like a cloud of fragrance in your face and you feel gross and then it's gone and you don't smell it anymore. So there's so many benefits to soy wax other than just it being healthy.
Wow, there's so much that I did not know. So that's really interesting. And I didn't know that essential oils didn't have a strong enough scent for candles. So that's interesting as well.
I also think though scent is such a personal thing too, right? So I know, and we sell a lot of our essential oil candles to that type of person that doesn't want something overpowering. Mm-hmm. I love an essential oil candle in the bathtub. You know, you're right there, you're in that proximity, you know, it smells just enough. But for me, they personally just weren't strong enough for my home.
Right. Okay, interesting. And so going back to like when you started and since then, how has your business grown? And I think it's a matter of 2 years, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I was making candles. I'm looking at my stove right now. I was making candles on the stove, like 4 candles at a time, batch by batch. And, you know, my teenager would melt the wax for me and the kids would get the jars ready on the counter. And I used to pour a couple and keep them in my cabinet and I would sell one and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm at a sale. To now. And I mean, that was a great start. And there's lots of people at that point and it's such a wonderful place to be. We're actually in the garage now, but I like to refer to it. I refer to it as the candle cave because it sounds way classier, right?
Nice. That's awesome. I hope it's warm there.
Be warm. Actually, soy wax is a very temperature controlled thing. So I have to have it at an exact temperature in there, which is warm. So typically you'll see us pouring candles in tank tops in the middle of January.
Awesome.
But moving from the stove to the garage meant I could make a lot more, a lot faster. I went from a little pot to like a big, huge gallon drum that we melt the wax in now. And I've been able to give a couple women, a mom and a university student, a full-time job so that they can support their family and their school and their education as well. So that was very important to me too.
Fabulous. So you actually employ 2 people.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a couple high school students come in after school 2 nights a week to do all the prep work for us too now, which is really great.
Amazing. So they do the making, I would assume.
Yeah. So basically how it works is I do all the designing, I do all the recipes, I build all the scents myself, what I like, I name the candles myself. And then the girls come in and I'm in there every day with my hands in there too. And pour. We pour and we do a lot of custom work. So we do a lot of custom candles for, we do a candle for a winery and a couple real estate agents and things like that. So that ball is rolling too. So we're always always I still like to get my hands in the wax and get nice and dirty once in a while.
Yeah, I'm sure that's super fun. And then you also, I would imagine, deal with the sales and the marketing and all of that.
Yes. And actually, we're at that cross point now where I am looking to hire someone to come in, and we have a few really big internet projects coming up in January. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be looking for some help on that end of things. I need more than just my set of eyes on emails coming in. And it's great because I like to keep my hands on Instagram personally, because when you send an Instagram message to our business page, it's going to be me that answers it. And I really feel like our customer service sets us apart. So I really not only do I want you to buy a candle, but I also want you to enjoy the experience. I want you to learn, and I want to know that I'm there for you if you have a question, a concern. Sometimes the emails, I get too far behind on emails, or we have the live chat on our website. I have the girls help me out with the live chat, so it's not necessarily me all the time. But Instagram DMs, I love, and I get the most beautiful stories ever. The one thing that has absolutely shocked me about this business is the amount of lives that I've touched in the most emotional way. Like, this candle company has made me cry in great ways, but so many more times, because people share their stories with me, and it just means so much to me that they're having a moment and enjoying my candle, and it means so much to them.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Can you tell us, is there any kind of story that stood out to you?
I think the one that hit me really, really hard, and I had a few tears streaming down my face, was I had a lady who purchased a candle. One of our candles is called Lake Huron Sunset. I developed this candle because I love Lake Huron. I love watching the sunsets. And when I smelt the smell, it like hit me home. It was like the memory. And she bought it for her mom. Last Christmas, her mom passed away a couple days before Christmas Day, and she never had a chance to give her mom the candle. And she wrote me the most amazing email, and she was like, it's Boxing Day now, and I'm lighting this candle. And although I didn't get to give it to her, she was having a moment. She was like, I'm with my mom now, and the candle's burning, and it's so amazing.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my God, how is this possible that, my product that I created with my own hands, like, touch somebody in the most amazing way? And I get those stories, and it brings me back to my nursing days. And I was like, oh my God, I love you, but I don't know who you are, but I still love you. And it's so amazing. And I preach a lot about self-care, and I find that the women that are just starting to stop and take a break from their day and light a candle, even if it's for 5 minutes, and they take that time and send me a message and say, like, hey, I've had a really terrible day. I came home, I grabbed a glass of wine, I lit a candle, and thanks to your candle, my day was so much better. Oh. And I'm just shocked by it every day. I shouldn't be, but it still touches me every day.
Wow, that's so amazing. I brought tears to my eyes there. I can just picture that lady doing that. And I can see that I totally am with you. I don't think I could ever be a nurse or a doctor for that reason, because whenever I hear about somebody getting sick, I'm just so sad. It's just like very emotional. So kudos to those people.
I agree. Yeah.
Sure. But it's so beautiful that you are touching people. And like you said, with this self-care idea, that they can take your products and feel this sense of joy just from having it there. And I'm looking at my candle that's burning right now, and I think, yeah, it's so true. It's like very calming, gives you a sense of, okay, I'm taking a pause. And we all know that we have hectic lifestyles, and we need to inject this into our lives. So amazing that you are just solving this problem for so many people. It's beautiful.
Well, and it's like sometimes when an email like pops up in my inbox, I'm like, oh no, is there something wrong with my product? Or, oh my God. And then I open the email and they're like, your candles are so amazing. I'm definitely a future customer, and I'm going to recommend all my friends to you. It's like, I get those emails and I'm like, oh yay, nothing was wrong with my product. Wait a second, of course nothing's wrong with my product. I designed it as best I could. And it's so wonderful to get the feedback. I mean, it's your customers, and you really have to get their feedback from them.
So true. I wonder, so I'm thinking about like how you actually got started, and I'm just curious, like a lot of makers start with Etsy or something like that. Like, how did you actually start to sell your products?
At first, it was really just through family, and then family became friends, and then friends became, so a lot of it was like through text messages or phone calls. And I wasn't familiar. I knew what Etsy was, but I wasn't fully on the Etsy train. And my other business is so like hand to mouth. You come to me, you buy food, you eat it, we're gone. There's no social media, there's no website, there's no nothing. So I decided for me personally that I would try an e-commerce site. I guess fortunate for me, in my back pocket, I have a handy dandy teenager that was like, oh, hey, I know this company and we did work with them at high school and I know how to start a website. So lucky to have a teenager in my pocket, maybe. That started me up my website. But in order to apply to some of the more busier shows or markets, I had to have an Etsy page. So I think my website came first, and then I had to have an Etsy page to be able to apply to these markets. So I try not to do much on Etsy. I feel like you are responsible for driving your customers to your product.
Exactly.
I didn't want to rely on the Etsy market or the Etsy base to bring me my customers. I wanted to bring me my customers, and I knew how I was going to do that. And I wanted to be on social media. And I think right from the very beginning, I went hard on social media. So many people say to me, how did you do it? How did you build? How did you get so many followers so fast? My answer to that question when they ask me is, it's a full-time job. I was literally on Instagram at the beginning of my business for 40 hours a week. I was reaching out to influencers. It was very important for me to have an organic following and to have people following me that truly loved my pictures or loved my business or me. And again, I asked my audience to share. I asked my audience to like pictures. I will probably once a week jump on my Instagram stories and say, hey, ladies, if you're not doing anything today, why don't you jump on my feed and like a couple of my posts? Or because not everyone sees every single picture you post on Instagram.
Yeah.
There is so many. I reached out to so many people. I mean, I have Instagram messaged some of the most influential women in the world, knowing that they're probably not going to get back to me, but there's always that one or two that trickle through, and I get like, oh my God, yes, you messaged me back today.
Okay, that's amazing. So tell us who.
Okay, so I guess one of my very first like Instagram oh my God moments was Jillian Harris.
Wow. Okay.
I reached out on Instagram. She reached back. I sent her some products. The best part about the Jillian Harris situation for me, and I love her. She's so amazing on Instagram. She's so positive. She did a couple Instagram stories of our big 4-wick summer nights outdoor bug repellent candle the night before I was leaving for my holidays. So immediately, as soon as she started posting, I was like, what's going on Instagram? Like, my Instagram's blowing up. All these orders started coming through for all of these outdoor bug repellent candles. And I looked at my husband and I said, the best, but the worst timing ever. So I literally had to stay home for 2 extra days and make candles to keep up with the orders that were coming in from her story.
Amazing.
And the most amazing moment for sure. But I was like, oh, damn, that timing was just horrible.
Well, that is not a bad problem to have, but
right. Yeah.
Like Jillian Harris. Okay.
Yeah. And then, you know what? I mean, her influence is crazy. She posted a second story about one of our products, and I was out running one morning and my phone was like blowing up on my arm as I was running. And then my best friend called me. She's like, are you seeing what's going on right now? I'm like, no, I'm running. Like my time, my like mental de-stress. So I got home and, oh yeah, she was right. It is unbelievable the amount of followers and orders that were coming in directly after that had been posted. It blew my mind away. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think we could just do a separate episode about Instagram, because that's just the power of Instagram, and like so much marketing power in that. And so from there, you started on your website. And then I know you're in retail across Canada. So can you tell us a little bit about, okay, what would you say? Would you say like at some point you felt like, okay, now I'm ready to go retail? How did you transition there?
I feel like I was just given a swift shove into it. I didn't really have time to think about it. I mean, I had to figure it out really quick and on my own. I don't like have a lot of family, and I definitely have no family in the retail industry that could say like, hey, this is what you need to do. And I a lot of times wanted to reach out to people and say like, hey, help me. What do I do? But I just did. I started putting information together. I started writing stuff down. I started putting together packages on the computer with myself. And I'm not really the most techie person ever. So my wholesale package kind of lacks a little bit. But once you follow me on Instagram and you start watching my stories, then you totally get me and you totally get what I'm about. Again, it was just sending out emails. I would sit on emails and I would sit on social media and I would message hundreds of people a day, and they would get back to me. And that kind of snowballed the, oh my gosh, I've seen your candles here. And then they bring their customers. But I feel like it's so important when you do retail and when you have a product to support your stores too. So a lot of the times I'll say, hey, in Oakville, you can go to this store to purchase my product. Exactly. I don't necessarily drive everybody to my website because I know shipping is expensive. So if you live in that city, just go. You're supporting me, really, and you're supporting your local store. And that's what it's all about. It's all about supporting the community, not just being selfish and taking it all for yourself.
That's great. That's awesome. So how many stores are you in?
I think we're just over 100 stores across Canada. I felt like, so another crazy moment in my maker life, we were just recently featured on the Marilyn Dennis show. It's a daytime TV talk show.
Yes, I know it. Yeah, that's amazing.
And so we had, her name is Meredith Shaw. She's wonderful. Back up the train a bit. A clothing company from Australia hired me to do a custom candle for them. So I did a custom candle for them. And when I went to their event to promote the candle, I met a lady named Meredith Shaw, and she was absolutely amazing. We clicked right away. She's super funny, just love her to death. And then, snowballed into a few weeks later, I got an email saying that the Marilyn Dennis show wanted to feature our candles on one of their how to have an in-home spa day segment. And again, I'm having a moment here because again, I'm thinking the day after I got my wisdom teeth out, I was like, okay, I bought myself a book. I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to recover on the couch. I'm going to wear slippers and pajamas all day, and I'm going to feel good. And then the Marilyn Dennis show happened. So, and that was insane because it airs every hour in a different province because of the time change.
Right.
So 9 a.m. in Ontario, the Instagram followers and the orders started pouring in, and the live chat on the website. And I called one of the girls in. I said, you have to help me get on live chat because there's so many messages coming through. And then 10 o'clock, it was everybody from Manitoba was messaging me. And then 11, it was Alberta. It was just all day. I think I was at 10% battery life by 9:30 in the morning.
Wow, that's crazy. And then you've got to keep up with that demand. So you're probably okay, I've got to make all these candles now.
Yes. And it was our eucalyptus lavender candle that was featured on the show. Okay. And we still we're still currently getting orders, one eucalyptus lavender candle, ship it to BC. And it's crazy. So the power of networking and the power of just asking and meeting people is so crazy. You really have to take advantage of that power. I'm sometimes I'm a bit of an introvert when I get into like a big group of women, and I'm like, oh God, please, nobody talk to me, nobody look at me. And then I'm like forced into this conversation, but then it just flows so naturally. I'm like, oh, why didn't I just talk to you before? Because you're actually a really sweet person.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, and I mean, that snowballed to the Atelier, had a conference in June in Toronto. I was at that event and that's where I met Jennifer, and you're right, she's so amazing. She's newsworthy.
Yeah.
And yeah, my life has snowballed since then. It's been really amazing.
So it sounds like PR has been very good for you as well as social media.
Yeah. And I would have to say to anyone listening, you don't need to have millions of dollars. You can really do it on a small scale yourself. You just really have to be confident. And I say this with hesitation, but you have to be a bit cocky too, because you have to have the courage to send the emails or send the messages to people who you wouldn't normally reach out to in your area.
So true. And just know that any rejection is just a step forward. It's not personal. It just means that you're moving forward. And it's awesome. I think anybody who would meet you, it would say like, oh, she's so passionate. I want to help her. So I can just tell by speaking with you, like I'm sure that anybody who's listening to this would just even want to just order the product right away. Okay, so you've gone into all these stores and then you've got your website. I'm curious, what would you say is a percentage? I don't know if you can give us any numbers, but percentage of sales that go through your website versus stores?
So I would probably have to say it's about 50-50. I mean, there is a good split. Stores are definitely ordering more volume. Mm-hmm. But so I get more retail for every like 50 retail orders I get in. I get 2 wholesale or 3 wholesale orders that equal maybe the same, but I mean, obviously I'm making more on the retail side, but my stores, I love all of my stores, and I'm really picky and choosy about the stores I go into. And I think when you have a product, you have to be, I'm not just going to like let every single store carry my products or my candles. I'm really strategic and specific about who carries them and what their design of their store is, and if they're a good match for me personally sometimes too. That's really important to me. I have said no to stores before, and I've actually fired customers before, which is like the craziest thing ever.
Wow. Tell us about that. What happened?
It was the most empowering thing I've ever done. And I just felt so good afterwards, which kind of surprised me. I had a lady that had approached me at a show and just said, I'm looking to buy 20 candles for my staff, but I'm noticing they're not all at the same height and they're not all the same color, and the bows aren't always all tied the same. And I was most respectful and polite to her. And I was just like, I think that my product is not good for you or your 20 employees because we are a hand-poured company. These candles don't come from a line somewhere made in China that are mass produced. You do get in some candles a little bit more than what the label says because it's hand poured. It's not an exact science. You will always get what's in the candle or more than that. You will never get less. Each bow or each twine is hand tied by me, mostly because I've fired a lot of people from tying twine because they really suck at bows. But I was just like, I don't understand. You come to a handmade craft show and you want to buy a bulk order, and I'm more than happy to be like, 20 candles. This is a great sale and it's great outreach. But I felt like her energy was very negative, and I just didn't want that in my life. And I don't know if it's because I'm over 35 now that I've been like really picky and choosy about like who brings energy into my life. I don't know. Like 5 years ago, I would have called myself crazy, But I was just like, my candles aren't right for you. Maybe you should look at either another candle company or something else to give to your employees, because we are made in my home, mostly by me, myself and my kids and my husband. And yeah, it just felt really good to say no.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, I think like energy is everything. And if someone's pulling your energy down, you don't need that in your life. So I agree, like it's not worth it. That's amazing. Kudos to you. And so you actually mentioned this, and I've read this about you, that your kids jump in and help, and your husband. That's so cute. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I guess because we grew at such a fast rate, I really didn't have employees at the time. And still now to this day, because I only have 2 currently, we still get backlogged in orders. And especially with the Christmas season, everyone's ordering multiples. Declan, he's my little famous Instagrammer. He just turned 4 years old. But what he does is he flips every jar in the case and he applies the safety sticker to the bottom of every jar. Not perfectly in the center always, but he does his best. And then he flips every jar back over in the case. So then the case gets shuttled down the line to our 8-year-old, and he puts the wicks in the jars. So most of the time in the center, some of them I try and fix, but he loves doing it too. And then we have a 16-year-old teenager who I reference to all the time because he helps me behind the scenes with the Etsy page, all the technical things. He does not like being on camera. He does not like being on Instagram. He does not like being filmed or taking pictures of. So you'll get a rare glimpse of him once in a while, but he actually is so very helpful too. And I really appreciate all of his help. And as a mom, it's hard for me to not show him because he's part of my family. I want the people to see him, but I also respect his wishes. And I don't put him on Instagram because he wants the privacy, and I think it's like, I don't know, it's maybe some girly masculine thing. I don't want him to be teased by his high school friends.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Boy.
Right. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. So everyone helps. And then my husband has been nicknamed Wax Man. Aww. So our wax comes in on skids, and they're 50-pound bags. So every night he fills my wax melter up for the next day.
Oh, so amazing.
And I always joke about, he always pulls in after work and he brings me a skid of wax or a skid of jars. And I'm like, babe, most husbands bring their wives wine or flowers after work, and you bring me a skid of wax. I'm just the luckiest lady in the world.
Oh, that's amazing. Amazing. It sounds like a big family business. And how would you say that I'm sure this has impacted your kids and how they behave and see the world and see business. Is there anything that comes to you in that respect?
Yep, absolutely. I think they appreciate the little things a little bit more, because sometimes when we all need to work, I'll say, okay, well, if we get this done and it's our work, then we can go to the park, or then we can go to hockey, because I try to put work first, but in a very light, like, of course, my family comes first and my kids come first. I always shuffle everything around to make it happen. But I also want my kids to know that you do the hard work and then you play, and that will come after. But nothing comes for free and nothing comes easy. And I really want them to grow up with a great work ethic, and not just expecting things, that we really have to work hard for things in order to enjoy our life.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, it's so true. Like, the kids are watching us and they learn work habits from us. And I'm sure they are learning so much from you, just seeing how you've grown 2 businesses out of nothing and employing the whole family. So it's so amazing. Another thing that I heard about you is that you auditioned for Dragon's Den. I'm just so curious. I'm sure everyone's curious. What was that like? How did it help you? Any kind of tips for people who are exploring that route?
Yeah, that was a crazy day in my life. I actually wasn't sure if I was going to do it. And I knew that the auditions were coming to Waterloo on whatever the specific day was. So nobody was around. So I phoned up my Aunt Kathy and I'm like, hey, do you want to come for a car ride with me? And she's like, sure, I love car rides. Let's go. And I was like, okay, but it's a surprise. So as we were driving over, I was like, oh my God, why am I doing this to myself? I'm going to die of a heart attack before I even get in the door. So I'm like, okay, Aunt Kathy, we are auditioning for Dragon's Den. And she's like, I knew it. I knew you would do it. I had this in the back of my mind. And okay, so first of all, it's so intimidating. But when you get there, it's actually just like really calm and normal. There's not really like, you would think that it's like very like structured and stressful and strict. But it's actually not. Like, it's in a classroom and you're just sitting there waiting for your turn and you get to listen to the people ahead of you. And when it was my turn, I walked up and I set up all my candles on the table and I started giving them my spiel, you know, hey, I'm Kristy from Eris. And, you know, I felt like the producers maybe didn't take me seriously a little bit. And I wonder that if makers sometimes feel like nobody takes them seriously. But then when I started throwing numbers out and facts out, they were like, oh, like instantly I felt like there was like a mood shift. And then they were like, well, what do you do for your full-time business? And I was like, well, I actually own another business that I've owned for like 10 plus years. And then they started taking me more seriously again. So I don't necessarily know if that was a positive experience for me, because I was like, why did you not take me seriously the first minute of my interview? But then because I have the numbers to back me up, so I was like, are they stereotyping me because I'm a blonde, I'm a woman, I'm a mom? They think that I'm just a cute little candle girl. And then, so that really like struck me hard. It's like, I wonder if all women get stereotyped as like, oh, that's cute. You make candles on your stove. Whoa.
Right.
So all in all, it was a great life experience for me. I was not chosen to be on television, but I kind of knew, like they had said, you know, people interview for years and years and years. And they asked me if I'd be coming back for an interview next year. And I was like, well, if the show gets, because the show has to be accepted for another season. So if it does come back around, I'll probably do it again. I think maybe I feel like the experience was worth more than anything.
Right.
And if I had some advice to give to people going to do it, know your numbers, know your facts, go in there, tell it like it is, and be yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's just a television show. And whether you get picked or not, you're going to grow from the experience immensely.
That's so true. Did you actually have a pitch that you used? Like, you know how you see those polished picks and the polished pitches that they use, and some of them have rhymes and they do these like things like that. Did you have something like that, or just was it natural? And
you know what? I feel like I'm a wing it kind of girl.
Okay.
And Jennifer from She's Newsworthy will attest to this, because she tries to practice me all the time. And I'm like, no, I don't want practice. I don't need to practice. I don't need a script. When I do something, social media, interviews, whatever, typically I just wing it, because I feel like the more I think about it, the more I stress about it, the more I fumble it. If I don't think about it and you just like randomly ask me a question, I'll randomly give you the honest answer. And it comes out so much easier for me personally, not rehearsed.
Interesting. Yeah, you're very well spoken and you're very passionate about your business. So I can tell that you'd probably just speak from the heart, and then they just need to know the numbers behind it. But
sometimes I need to be like wrangled in, because I can get like really, really off topic. Like, okay, let's reel this girl in. She's a little bit crazy. I'm like, I'm okay with that.
That's okay. That's okay. They like content, you know. Yeah. Awesome. So did you meet the dragons or no? Just the producers?
I didn't meet the dragons. When I had finished the audition, I won or was awarded this like super fan pass for CBC. So it was about a month later, I went down to Toronto and I went on this like CC Dragon's Den experience. So I got to meet Michelle and Diane, who's the host of the show. And Michelle is so amazing. She's very, very lovely. She's so short, actually. It kind of surprised me at how short she is. But she's so kind. And I feel like when you meet someone that's like famous, you're like, you want to like verbally get out as much as quickly as possible because you know that their time is very short. Mm-hmm. But she was like sitting and listening to me and was like, gave me all the time in the world. It wasn't rushed. She's such a sweet, sweet girl. I absolutely love her. I love her energy and she's more than willing to help out. Like, sure, she's busy and she's got her things going on for her, but she's absolutely more than willing to reach out. And we did pictures together and we actually still chit chat back and forth on Instagram a lot. So,
that's so cool. Yeah. I love her in the show as well. She's super positive, very helpful. Yeah. So what would you say is next for you? Like, you've got all this success so far. What's next for your business?
Oh, that may be a company secret.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like if your listeners really want to listen to this, that they deserve some inside juicy gossip, right?
Okay.
What's next for the Scented Market? For the Scented Market, we are launching a whole new line of bath and body products come January, February. Ooh. I'm actually just working on packaging right now. And again, it's come from my customers and my followers want this. They're demanding it from me. So I better give it to them, keep them happy. So come January, that is going to be all new for us. And I'm going to slowly soft launch it. Currently, we're in the midst of looking for some sort of building. We are in Eris, but our closest town, which is like 5 minutes down the road, is Guelph. So we've been looking for a building that we can do retail and manufacturing out of, just to give us like a little retail spot. So that is definitely on the radar for us. We've been actively going to look at buildings, and I hope that maybe we can find something. It's just, I'm so fussy, and it's not even the condition of the building. It's more like the location and what it's zoned for and if there's parking. Because I found a couple of really great buildings, but either there's no parking or it's not zoned for manufacturing. It's only so it's kind of a tricky ordeal. So I feel like that's next for us. For me personally, I want to keep hiring so that I can take a little bit of a step back again, because both businesses are currently booming right now. And the kids are, the older they get, the more complex and busy they get. My 2020 calendar, I'm booking into November. It's absolutely insane for shows right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So, January, we're fully booked. I think January, March, I'm like almost every weekend I'm fully booked. So I just want to take a little bit more personal time and more time with the kids, because I knew starting a new business, I was 125% in, so that my family would suffer the first year or two and not have me around as much. But now that I've kind of built a steady following, it's time for me to bring someone else aboard to help out so that I can maybe, and I don't mean like take a step back, disappear. I just mean like not work 23 hours a day.
Right. Yeah, no. And you deserve the self-care.
Yeah.
So enjoy some time off.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, because it's December right now and we're getting towards the end of December near Christmas. We're feeling that maker burnout. You go hard September, October, November, and the beginning of December. So I'm on like the end of that burnout phase where I'm like, I'm out. I'm getting on an airplane. I'm going to lay on a beach somewhere. See you in a week.
Exactly.
So lots of things on the horizon for sure.
Amazing. And then your bath and body, did you say?
Bath and body products.
Are you guys still planning on making those yourself?
I actually already have a girl that wants to come in-house to make it for us. So she is going to work for herself, but like only make our products for us. And so we're kind of working out the finer details now with really, it's all about storage. So I'm just running out of room to store skids. And I feel like, we can only fit so many skids in our garage. And then we bought a 24-foot trailer, and that's full of inventory. And I'm hiding skids at my transportation company because I have no room for them. And then we're trying to bring in all these extra, bottles and containers. And I want things to be as eco-friendly as possible, as recyclable as possible. So I'm really trying to be picky, choosy when it comes to those sort of things.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. It sounds super busy and super exciting that you're launching all these products and you're expanding, and hopefully you can take a step back, not back, but, just take some time to cool down and spend some time with your family. So this has been amazing. Can you actually tell everyone where they can find you and where they can find your products?
Yeah. So social media, we're on Instagram and Facebook at The Scented Market. And then if you were shopping online, you could go onto our website. It's www.thescentedmarket.ca. We also currently have a full-time booth at the St. Jacobs Farmers Market in Waterloo, Ontario. And it's every Thursday and Saturday from 7 till 3:30. So we have a full-time girl, Taylor, who runs our market booth for us. And it's staffed with all of our products from spring and summer and all year long there, because we have a really great space there.
Oh, cool. I want to visit that now. That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure. It's amazing meeting you. And I just loved hearing your story and all about products. And I wish we could talk for longer because I think there's so much more there. So you can come back anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And have an amazing day.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Productpreneur Podcast. If you loved this episode, we'd be so grateful if you could take a sec to subscribe, share it, and review it on Apple Podcasts. Your review will help more women build their own dream product business. By the way, if you have any feedback, comments, or questions, email me at info@nicoledelarzac.com. Until next time, keep dreaming up those product ideas.